What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for tuning in here today. Hey, it is Monday. It is Lions Talk Live, and you know what? We got a little something to talk about this morning. Get your day started and underway with a little bit of information that has come to light. You know, hey, for those who don't know, if you go to the NFL scouting combines, if you ever have been either as a reporter, an agent, or somehow involved in the situation, people pay attention to who you talk to. People try to do interviews. They try to do all sorts of different things. But yes, those people, the reporters working that particular week in the events, they're not just paying attention to the athletes and what their 40 times are, the shuttle drills are, the vertical jump and everything else. They're paying attention to who from which organization is talking to whom. They try to establish baselines, find out some normalities, try to get inside information, speculation on what you're going to do in the upcoming draft and, I guess, free agency. So we're going to dive into that. As you could probably tell for the thumbnail for this particular show, it does feel like the Lions had a bit of a trend. So we're going to get into that real quick. Before we do, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 13,300, and we're about 51 subs away from that. And so if you can help out with that, that would be most awesome. Also, if you would take a half second of time, it doesn't cost a dang dime. It is 1,000% free of charge. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up, that like button, hit that share button, hit all the buttons. As you probably know, if you've watched YouTube for any kind of length of time, that helps out all content creators exponentially. And we try to get every episode of the show between 1, 2, 3, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. I mean, heck, if we can get to 1,000 thumbs up, that would be great. But you get it. The more we can get, the more it helps things out. Also, last, before we get into the 5 headlines now, etc., if you're considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see my number on your screen, 269-998-2384. We can have a quick conversation. What can I do to help you out? Either buying land, buying commercial property, buying a new house, or selling any of those above listed entities. So I've been in the industry for over 30 years. If you want somebody who's going to work on your behalf, try to save you some time, save you some money, save you some hassle, go ahead and reach out to me. Again, 269-998-2384. All right, with all that done, said, out of the way, let's go ahead and get this show a rocking and a rolling and a going and get into 5 headlines now. Sometimes when you hit the wrong button. All right, anyways, it is what it is. Wrong button or not, we're into the 5 headlines now. And target number 1, this came out late yesterday. Will Jaguars target star Lions defender in free agency? Question mark. Story by John Shipley of SI.com. This is with the Jacksonville Jaguars division of SI.com, or the segment devoted to Jacksonville. And I think most of us get it. Carlton Davis III is going to have a lot of different teams coming after him. Finding a star, you could call him a star, maybe not elite, maybe not Hall of Famer, but really just a level below that. Finding a cornerback in free agency of his caliber is going to be rare. Yes, the Lions made a trade a season ago to acquire him, gave him up the 3rd-round pick, but I would say that 3rd-round pick, if you just judge it by last year, it was pretty well spent. He did a pretty good job for us and does seem like he has interest in returning to the Lions. I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to, unfortunately, whether or not he wants the bag of money here or if he wants it somewhere else. The Lions, I believe, are going to make a run from him, especially when you look at the fact that, for the most part, it would be my anticipation the increase in salary cap that we got is basically his contract next year. Could be completely wrong with that, but let's also not make any kind of mistakes about it. It won't be just the Jaguars trying to get him. I won't be surprised if Aaron Glenn tries to get him over in the Jets. I know there are rumors and speculations that potentially the 49ers, amongst a gajillion other teams, are going to try to acquire his services. Will he play corner? Will he play safety? Will he play a combination of both wherever he goes? I think if he's with the Detroit Lions, he will play a combo role next year. It could just be that they leave him like last year on the outside, but I think just because of his skill set and some of the new dynamics with Kelvin Shepard, I think you'll see him roving around a little bit more in the star position that was kind of created by Jalen Ramsey a few years ago. I think you'll see him play linebacker, safety, cornerback. I mean, who knows, man? Maybe even defensive end at times in a blitzing situation. And I am saying that last part in jest. All right, Detroit Lions get price tag for Jameson Williams 2026 season. Story by Mark Inabet of AL.com, so Alabama.com. I think we've all been talking about it for a while. It's my guess. Jameson Williams is not going to leave the Detroit Lions. He's going to get a new contract for Detroit. But if he was to move to the fifth-year option, the Lions wanted to keep him that route before giving a new contract. We've all been speculating what that's going to cost. The number might not be as bad as many of us had anticipated. So we all get it with the NFL announcement of a $279.2 million cap space for 2025, $23.8 million more than it was in 2024. This guy brought up a lot of thoughts about could the Lions re-sign Aiden Hutchinson right now, Jameson Williams now, and then maybe even Kirby Joseph. I think there will be some looks into that this offseason, maybe even trending into next season. Remember last year when we were signed a bunch of guys, some of those did go into the season slightly. But anyways, when looking at Williams' cap number, he's going to be the average is the third. He's going to get the third highest average per his receiver position throughout the NFL. So that's going to bring the number to $15,493,000 for the 2026 season if they just go with the fifth-year option. I'm not sure if that's what they're going to do or if they're just going to look to extend him. Well, obviously, this is going to be a fluid situation throughout most of the offseason. But real quick, it's going to be affected by different levels of his play. To go through some of those levels, things that will increase or decrease his fifth-year option. Players who have been selected for at least 2 Pro Bowls are the original ballot from their contract. Players who have been selected for 1 Pro Bowl of their original ballot of their contract. Players who have not been to the Pro Bowl but have played at least 75% of their offensive snaps in 2 seasons or 50% of the overall snaps in 3 seasons. Players who have not reached their Pro Bowl in any of their original contract. So for those who don't know, and I get most of us probably don't have this written down, Williams played in 19% Lions offensive snap as a rookie, so that's going to bring his number down a little bit. Because they had sustained an anterior ACL injury, the CFP National Championship is when he suffered that injury in 2021. We all get it. That set him back a little bit. And I won't walk you through everything that's affected his career, but because of that rookie year, my guess is the Lions did plan part of when they drafted him is they knew that his fifth-year option would be brought down a little bit. It's not going to be 20-some million. It's not going to be 22 million or whatever. Jameson Williams' cap number for the fifth year of $15.5 million. To be honest, if you look around the league, that's not that bad for a guy of his caliber. Now, will they extend him before that? I don't know, but I would say it's a probable situation. All right, next to the 5 glorious headlines now. Wide receiver Allen Robinson mulling retirement. Pro Football Rumors by Adam LaRose. Probably not a big story. Probably not a big surprise. When we got Allen Robinson, I think most people would say it was a nice signing for us. Just a couple years prior, he was one of the better receivers in the league. But like we often talk about in the show, the NFL, in my opinion, is unlike most other sports. When people decline, it seems vast and rapid for people. So you think about 4 years ago, Allen Robinson was one of the most premier wide receivers in the league. Now, he's a practice squad guy who can barely get on the field. Is he going to retire? I'm not sure, but here's his quote. For me, it's more about figuring out what the future in this game is and what that looks like for me, Robinson said after his outlook with Dave Burkett. So for me, it's now just taking time to evaluate what the next year looks like for me if I stick around in general. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So I'm taking my time to make the decision with my family. We get it. Father Time is undefeated. He's going to come for everybody. At some point, I don't care if you're 15 or 50, playing sports will come to an end. Robinson, I wouldn't be upset if they kept him on the practice squad. I think he meets a lot of the criteria Dan Campbell wants with a receiver. I think you get that and I get that. He blocks, he's big, he's physical. But with that being said, it might be time for the Lions to turn towards other options, whether it's in free agency, the draft. I'll leave that to you guys to debate. All right, Lions divisional rival may be very serious threat to poach Kevin Zeitler by Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune. And so this is probably going to be a giveaway just because who's writing it, who may be coming after it. I nearly did the main topic of the day regarding this because there was some information that came out over the weekend, but I felt like we just talked about the Chicago Bears a couple days ago, so I didn't really want to make it a main focus of today's show. But it does appear that the Chicago Bears, according to the Chicago Tribune, are going to come after Kevin Zeitler and potentially other Lions players. You can say what you want about Ben Johnson, but hey, I guess he's got to worry about his situation. And I would get, if they wanted to get Zeitler, why the Chicago Bears would want to get him. Probably for a year. Maybe if you're lucky, you can keep him around for 2. He is one of the better guards in the NFL. You do have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. I've been on it since, I'd say the last 2 months of the regular season for Detroit. I'd lock him up if you could get him to return for another year or 2. I know the Detroit Lions and Zeitler's representation had conversations this particular offseason about him returning. He was non-committal to that. I think we all get that. We want him to return. Will he? I don't know, but if he does leave, I really hope it's not for the Chicago Bears. I don't want to see them getting any better, especially if it means we're getting worse. Zeitler says he's still undetermined if he will return. Although the closer we get to free agency and he hasn't said he's going to retire, to me that means he's probably going to return and just going to look for the best, probably final contract of his career. And I'm not mad at him about that. This is probably his last payday as an NFL player. He's going to try to do what he can. Is it going to be better than the $6 million he got from Detroit last year? I guess let me know your thoughts on it, Duke Crew. If you're the Lions, the Bears, or Timbuktu team, what are you paying Kevin Zeitler this offseason in order to acquire a season or 2 out of him? Are you giving him $6 million a year? Are you giving him $10 million a year? What's it going to take for you to sign him? I guess that's $1 million question. I would not be mad if the Lions just said, hey, we'll give you a 2-year deal, average, 8 or 9 per season to keep him. Now, can you actually keep him for 2 years? Yeah, that's the $1 million question. All right, moving on to the next of the 5 glorious headlines now. 2025 mock draft. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter rise above Shedeur Sanders. Full rankings inside Essentially Sports. And we're not going to go through their entire mock draft. We ain't got that kind of time. Not on today's show. But in regards to who they had the Lions drafting, I thought it was a little bit of a tell here because it does sort of correlate with the main topic of the day. And it's probably not what most of us thought, but again, this is the first draft that I've seen that I thought really had some kudos to it coming after the scouting combine. For those who don't know, they have Jonathan, boy, I'm going to kill this last name, Salvrina, offensive tackle from Arizona. Let's walk through him real quick. I wouldn't be mad about it. He is 6'4.5", 330 pounds, and he is athletic. So that's the other part I like about it. You talk about John Morton, what he's doing with the offense, or projected, I should say, to do with the offense. You're going to want somebody who can get out there and motor, fill out space, pull, just do trap plays, all sorts of stuff, get in screen plays. It would be my anticipation this kid would not be a tackle, at least not right away with us. I think Taylor Decker's still got another season or 2 before we replace him. But when that day does come, Jonah is probably going to go from guard, I'm guessing his rookie year, out to one of the tackle spots. Whether or not Penei Sewell moves to the left tackle spot, we'll deal with that another time. But his arm length is basically just shy of 34 inches, so that's pretty dang good. Wingspan, 82 inches. He can cover some space with those arms. His 10-yard shuttle under 2 seconds, that's pretty good at 1.72 for those who don't know. lateral quickness involved there. 40 time. Again, Lions making a trend towards getting towards mobile guards, and especially ones with some size, under 5 seconds at 4.95. And that's, I mean, for an offensive lineman, that's moving. Would you be mad if the Lions drafted an offensive lineman, guard, tackle, whatever, in the first round? Could he even be groomed to be a center? I don't know, especially since he's coming out of college as a tackle. I'd probably keep him at guard/tackle. But I do think we're seeing more and more reports that suggest in the first round or second round, the Lions might not go defensive line. They may just go offensive line. And, you know, that would probably be an indication that Kevin Zeitler is not returning this particular offseason. All right, guys, let's get over to the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day. There was some information in this, you know, I tried to build this not just on one person's perspective. I tried to go to multiple different reporters, see what they all thought. But you did have, in the first day or two of the combine, it seemed like all the reports were about the Lions targeting defensive linemen, at least with their interview process, who they're probably going after, etc. But later in the week, the rest of the week, I guess you could say, it does appear through multiple different publications and reports, the Lions were targeting or talking to offensive skilled players. And I tried to find correlations between what this reporter said, what that reporter said, to see if there was kind of a baseline for you. Let's dive into it. And some of it, I'm going to be flat out honest, some of this does not make any sense to me. Let's see what you guys have to say, though, because it doesn't matter what I think. First player that I could find multiple different reporters mentioning the Lions interviewed is wide receiver Matthew Golden from Texas. Speedy wide receiver, we get it. Had a headline of under 4.3 seconds. He came in, he clocked in, I should say, at 4.29 in the 40-yard dash. You know, the kid's all over the place. He's got speed. We did talk about a lot in this offseason so far. Could the Lions go after a receiver with some, with some real speed to be the number 3 guy, etc.? I wouldn't be mad if the Lions went after him. What would you guys say, though? It does seem like he could be an ideal fit for the Lions, again, in regards to the number 3 spot or whatever have you. You know, he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's just under 6 foot. But man, oh man, could you imagine him, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, everybody else out there? I mean, that's a lot of speed to have to cover. Will the Lions make a move for him? Man, I have no idea. But, I just don't see a way where the Lions could get him. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick. So could the Lions get him? Probably not, unless you're making some sort of major move none of us saw coming. Next one on the list that I just don't see, and really at this position. And the odd part is we do need to keep in mind Brad Holmes, the scouting department, they do some misdirection. Every NFL front office does it. They don't want people to fully know where they're targeting going. But Amarian Hampton, he is perhaps the second best running back in the class behind Boise State's Ashton Gentry, if I'm not killing his name. I don't see the Lions going after another running back, and how would they get him? He's going to be a teen pick. But you do have multiple reports, again, talking about the Lions interviewing Hampton. And he's got some speed. He's under 4.5. He is 4.47. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. He's a fairly decent size running back at 220-ish pounds. Again, not something I feel like is going to happen. And you need to keep that in mind with a lot of these. I'm just reporting on what you could find multiple different reporters, journalists saying the Lions spent time interviewing on the offensive side of the ball. Next one, it would be a wide receiver, Jalen Noel. Hey, he had a pretty good showing at the combine. Not quite as fast as the previous guy, but he came in at under 4.4 at 4.39. But one thing with him is his vertical jump, 41.5. And inches in the vertical jump, and 11.2 in the broad jump. So the kid can cover a lot of ground here. He's not a bad option. Again, like everybody that we've already mentioned so far, I just don't see the Lions being able to go up and get him. So I'm going to say, based on this information, most of these guys would be, I'd like to say, misdirection plays by the Lions, but I also want to do your due diligence until you know somebody's not available. He's another smaller receiver. This guy is, 5'10-ish, and not that 5'10 small. I mean, I'd love to be 5'10, But in the NFL at the wide receiver position, I just think if the Lions are going to go for a number 3 receiver, one, you're probably not trading up a ton to get him, unless you're saying, hey, we're moving on from St. Brown or Jameson Williams. I don't see either of those situations happening. But hey, from Iowa, Noel, not a bad option, but I don't see I don't think the Lions are going to trade up into the teens or whatever for one of these guys. Continuing with it, I found 4 different reports that said that the Lions interviewed Jaden Blue. Now, he is a shifty running back. You probably all get it. He'd be a great fit in Detroit's offense. But again, you look at what the Lions have. Are you really going to go after this guy? Now, he's fast. He is 4.38 in the 40-yard dash. He's got real good flexibility. He went into the scouting combine saying he wanted to break Xavier Worthy's combine record. That didn't happen, but he wasn't far off it either. The kid's got some speed, and you get an idea that maybe at some point the Lions might be thinking Dave Montgomery's got 1 year left here, and then we're out of here on him. I don't know. Well, a lot of this stuff, like I said, is probably ultimately at the end of the day misdirection. I personally still think the Lions are going defense in the first round. I even think they'll probably do it in the second round. Although I would say in the second round, if they went for offensive line, I would totally get it. Most of these plays are plays for first rounders or interviews with first rounders. Maybe you're just doing your due diligence. So you're Brad Holman saying, hey, if one of these guys happen to slide on down, we'd consider them. I just think defense is a bigger priority. Now, the next one, though, is somebody I do think maybe could be in play for the Lions. And I don't think this is misdirection. I think this is just the Lions doing their due diligence, being ready in case the situation arises. And this is Louisville quarterback Tyler Shroud. Shroud. We all get it. The kid's got an arm. He's got some accuracy. His performance on the field, it wasn't bad if you watch this game tape. I'd see a lot of good developmental sides with him. The other aspect, I know a lot of Lions Talk Live fans want a guy who's mobile. Well, Tyler did run the 40-yard dash in 4.63. So he's got some speed. He's got accuracy. In particular, he was sharp in the breakout routes, scrambling, rolling out of the pocket, hitting guys downfield. The only thing I would say when you do this stuff in the combine, there's nobody in your face about you to hit you. You're in an ideal, perfect situation. There's no in-game, heat-of-the-moment type setup here. But again, you're facing the same dynamics everybody else is during the combine. Could Tyler Shroud from Louisville be somebody of interest? I think in the middle rounds he could be. We'll go through a few more here, and then I don't think we've got really the time to go through everybody else. Missouri quarterback Brady Cook was another one. Top 2 quarterbacks not throwing out there. Cook could be somebody. He also ran a sub 4.6 40-yard dash. So, again, I know a lot of you guys want people with wheels. He's in that. Colorado State receiver Jimmy Horn Jr., a super athletic guy. We get it. High production in college. Ran a sub 4.5, which, to be honest, nowadays a 4.46 isn't blazing by NFL standards, but he did have a 38-inch vertical leap on Saturday, which confirmed the explosiveness he shows on tape. Probably ultimately at the end of the day, day 2, maybe an early day 3 selection. So Jimmy Horn is somebody that I could see, if the Lions wanted to go after somebody, would be more kind of in play for him, just because I'm going to stick to my guns. Day 1 and 2, I think the Lions are going for defense. I've, of course, been wrong before, but Horn is somebody that if you were going to make a move, I guess I could see them going for someone like him. I personally think if the Lions are going to add a receiver, it's going to be a bigger body guy. For those who don't know, Horn is 5'8". I don't see the Lions going for him. I think they already have this guy basically in Khalif Raymond. So we'll wait and see. All right, let's see. I think there was 1 or 2 more here. Another wide receiver, Jameer Dyke from Florida, and then running back Tootin from Virginia Tech. Now, him, on the other hand, if you could get him in the mid to later rounds, another speed burner with 4.32 in the 40-yard dash. It does seem like the Lions are trying to, at least with all the running backs they talk to, they want basically another Gibbs-type player, somebody shifty, cover space, can cover ground in a hurry. Again, as I've been saying throughout this show, I personally think the Lions are doing a lot of this as misdirection. They're going to go after defense in round 1 and 2. But we've been wrong before. Probably not a lot of people thought when we were going to have the option to take Jalen Carter at number 6 overall, thought we were going to take him. And then obviously we traded down and got 2 offensive players. What say you, Duke Crew, to the list? I mean, I wouldn't be mad with some of these guys. I just wouldn't want to do them in the first or second round. That's my personal opinion. But what is your opinion? Let's go to the top of the screen and get this show rocking and rolling with the Duke Crew comments section. And JDC kicking us off with good morning, all. Back at you. Jameer, greetings, salutations, everyone. And always to you. Detroit D, greetings, salutations to the Duke Crew. You got to love the crew, right? Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Why would we go after offensive players? Question mark. Don't we have a powerful offense already? This team needs defense. I think that's where most of us would say that you're 100% right. You got to go after some defense and improve it. But maybe the Lions feel like they're doing better on defense than we all think. All right, let's see. Moonscar Blade, good morning. Duke Crew starting lineup. Exclamation point. This would not surprise me as it seems to be a defense-heavy draft. Brad Holmes seems to zig after as other GMs zag. I'll go with that. And yes, we all think we've got an idea what Holmes and Lions are going to do, but let's be honest. Do we really? Probably not. And if we went in the misdirection like this, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Johnny L, good morning to all in the crew. Back at you. Clark, yo, Duke Crew, exclamation point. Trust in Brad, even if it makes no sense to me. Yeah, I think that's what you're going to have to do. Jameer, Landon Jackson looks like a nice edge. He does, man. And the kid's got some ability to cover ground in a hurry. I think some of the better defensive edges, we're going to have to make some major trades if we want to go up and get them. So we'll see what shakes out. All right, Steve, good morning, Dan and crew. Hope y'all have a great day. Back at you, Steve. I'll have to catch the show on the stream, but I'll make sure I give the old thumbs up. Can we get a woo for the crew? You want a woo? I'll give you a woo, Steve. How about a 1, 2, and a 3? And woo you go. Eddie, greetings, salutations. Watching all the mock drafts, it seems clear no one really knows where we could go at 28. Yeah, we've got a lot of room and options in front of us. There could be a lot of good players at that spot, though. Yes, I would agree. This year's draft, I think it's pretty deep, and we've talked about it before at a couple key spots, and I think all of them benefit the Lions. Defensive tackle, offensive guard. I think it's a fairly deep draft there. And while there's a couple guys that, stand out at least on tape in front of others, I don't think there's a major drop-off from, say, the number 1 guy to, like, the number 7 guy. We're all probably anticipating a few quarterbacks going the top 25, maybe 3, maybe 4, I don't know. Then you're going to have some receivers. You will probably have a running back, maybe 2. Going to have a couple defensive linemen, a couple edges. So I think there could be a pretty good player that falls to us at 28. JDC, woo! And same to you. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. If we're going after offense in the early rounds, I would assume that meant that we made a trade or signed edges in free agency. That could be something, too. Could it be the Lions have a couple of people targeted in free agency that they're going to bring on in that kind of help take some of the burden off having to potentially go early for somebody like an edge or whatever? That is a thought. Could we make a trade? I mean, who knows, man? Right now, flip a coin and see what it tells you. Jameer, I really like Brad Holmes, but we want a Super Bowl this season. I like the way you're thinking. Yes, let's go get that Super Bowl. Troy, I've got the flu so bad, every muscle in my body hurts listening in today while trying to sleep. Get some sleep, and I know it's going around. You guys know sometimes I do shows from a friend of mine's liquor store / convenience store to try to help them out. And I know everyone in the family's got it, and he's got it a second time now, and I want to say a month. He's been bedridden a few times. Just can't get out of bed. I know his mom had it, his sister had it, and I know paying attention to coaches. There's one coach, a buddy of mine over in Coldwater. He said, man, was it like a week ago? He was down to like 5 or 6 players. That was it that could play the game because everybody else was out with the flu. So it is going around. Hope you feel better. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. What a team. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Go Lions. Back at you, my friend. 5 fingers, Freddie. In your opinion, I still think it's most likely Brand will trade up in the first round and second rounds this year. Coach, what would you trade up for? I won't give a targeted player just because, that it could be 20 different people. But if it's me, and I know we talked about this a couple days ago, I would absolutely in the first round trade up for the best defensive edge you feel you can get. Now, you have to feel like that guy is going to make an impact for your team. And then the second round, I probably, if Zeitler resigns, I'm probably going defensive tackle. If he doesn't, I'm probably going offensive guard in the second round. JDC, get well, Tori, 100%. Let's see, Jess, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew, tick, 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 until we start signing players. That should tell us more about draft targets for our team. 100%, man. Yeah, once you get to free agency, That's probably going to reveal some of your thinking for the draft. Henry Moratori, I drink elderberry juice and take a zinc tablet every day. I get a cold once a year. Hey, let's do that. I drink Mountain Dew and vinegar every day. And I do need to go get some new vinegar today because I'm about out. All right, France flying back home today, ending vacation. Place some bets on our season while out here. Wish me luck. We're wishing you luck. Hopefully you had a great vacation. Dale, good morning, Duke Crew. Go Lions. Same to you, Dale. Hopefully it's good morning. JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. It keeps the bad juju away from you. Hey, good stuff there. Hookadoo, good morning, Duke Crew. We have a strong offense. Brad Holmes needs to get his head out of the clouds and go for defense. Hookadoo, I do wonder, and I know I mentioned it when going through the list of players, I do wonder if some of this stuff is misdirection. Now, with that being said, I could see in the middle rounds, late rounds, whatever, us trying to go after some receiver or something like that, or maybe another quarterback. That I could see, but it's my belief the vast majority of this draft is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. But, I've been 100% wrong before. Quit reading salutations, Duke Crew. Been a minute since I was on. Needed a break from the team, but now I'm ready to get back at it. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, Quentin, that, once the season ended, unfortunately, just need to take a momentary pause. Hey, welcome back, man. Hopefully you've had a good one. So about Toy Apple. I had that a few weeks ago. It was bad. I'm still coughing from it. Yeah, Jen kind of had it, I want to say, I don't know, about 8 weeks ago. And still, like when nighttime comes around, she starts coughing, so it's still sticking around. Vincent E., good morning. Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Hopefully it's a good start to your morning. Voltron Force, I can see us wanting another receiver. Yeah, me too. But what else on offense would we need? Maybe a quarterback. I do think offensive line is going to be a target too. But again, I think that's going to be mid-later rounds. Dale, would be interested to see what we do in the draft. Total trust in Brad Holmes here. Me too. He hasn't done us dirty yet, especially with the draft. I could see some people saying free agency hasn't been as successful, but the draft is not amongst that. Susan, good morning. Trade up, trade down, keep everyone guessing. I like it. I like it indeed. Anymore, my life plan is to turn to dust while watching our Lions plot and listening to Lions Talk Live. Hey, well, let's try to make sure you have a good life enjoying the show. Pat Rock, good morning, Duke Crew. Good luck with your team tonight, Coach. Brad, I don't care what you do, just get the Lions Super Bowl. So we've got tonight off. Tonight, we get to practice, and then everybody's going to go home, grab a plate to pass. Then we're going to watch online the game that will determine who we play Wednesday. So good luck to all the teams. It's playoff time. All right, but thank you for that, Pat. JDC, Susan Scott, trade up, trade down, keep everyone moving around would be a great lyric. Hey, there you go. Southwest, Old Miss Cincinnati got really good linebackers coming out later down the draft. Speed and Jody plus can cover is what we need, and they racked up a lot of tackles. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Southwest. I think the linebacker position, just the Scooby-Doo this, if you want to target that in round 3, 4, or 5, I think you can get some good project guys. I know we're all over the projects, but our team is so strong, I would say it's a reasonable expectation that if you're going to add people in those rounds, they're probably not starting. Maybe they're special teams guys, but to your point, if it's me, I'm drafting guys that have upside in areas I can't teach, and that would be speed, athleticism, size, personality type, things like that. Johnny L., yeah, like around and around. Okay, Dave Bing, is it just me or some of the 40 times through the roof this year? I do think you're seeing just, a trend. I think people in general in the NFL or other sports are just getting more athletic. There's more specialized training. You're seeing, basically nutrition and everything. You're watching people do things that, 50, 80 years ago would have been insane to see. But I think a lot of that, there's multiple different reasons why that's happening, Dave. All right, JDC, Johnny L. By Rat. There you go, Rat. Hey, man, I haven't heard of them in a long time. Dale, Coach, have you heard any news on CD3? Question mark. Still in talks with him to re-sign with us? Thanks, Dan. Nothing new other than, Dale, what he said last week where, basically talked about glowingly about Dan Campbell. I think the Lions are in play to re-sign him. It's just going to come down to whether or not you've got a competitive offer. Marcus, good morning. Dan and Dooku, back at you. Who in the heck is Mel Kiper anyways? This is true, man. But to be fair, this isn't from Mel Kiper. I did try to see if he had any new updates on the Lions in his mocks, and I couldn't find anything specifically saying Lions. Phil, good morning. Back at you, Philly. Good to see you, my friend. The Non-Laughers, good old Ning, Dan, and Duke Crew. Well, good morning to you too, non-laughers. Let's see, Miles Bar, greetings, salutations. Zeitler, 34 years old. Glasgow, 32. Skipper, 30. So, yeah, in your opinion, Lions need to draft for offensive line depth. Yeah, I'm really hoping, Miles, that Christian Mahogany steps on in and is good, then perhaps Giovanni Manu. If both of those guys come in, and I suspect one of them will start, I don't think both will start, but who knows, man? Maybe they both will. If that happens where one of them starts, how much different of an opinion do we have about last year's draft? And, and then if you get a third or fourth player who really impacts the team, Rakestraw or whoever else, Makai Wingo. Right now, most around the league say last year's draft was a dud for the Lions. But if Arnold works out, Rakestraw works out, Manu and Christian Mahogany work out, I mean, that's a pretty impactful draft. All right, Henry Moore, I don't know, but I've been told the Detroit Lions go big and bold. I like the way you are thinking. I think we will. JDC, Marcus, it's Dan Kuiper Jr.'s dad. Yes, it is indeed. Probably. Joe, woo, hey, good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Exclamation point, let's go. Let's get this let this start us off to a great week. Good luck in your playoffs, Coach. Thank you very much for all the above, Joe. Thank you very much. One funky, I'm pretty sure Evan Brown is a free agent this year. Watch for him to make a return. When he was with Detroit, he played pretty dang well. When he went to Seattle, for whatever reasons, who knows, it just didn't work out. Hookadoo, good morning, Miles Meyer. Roar Detroit. Rock, Coach Rock. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. If we're targeting offense in the draft, then it should be defense and free agency and trades, you would hope. That's what I'm thinking. If they go for offense in the draft, you've had to have addressed the defense somewhere else. The only thing I can think of then would be through trades and free agency. Pierce, one funky Lions fan, I would not be mad at that for depth. Yeah, I'll go with that. They'll definitely need to continue to strengthen the offensive and defensive line, build from the inside out. Yes, I agree. You want a winning franchise, you want a winning program in football in any level, you got to control the lines of scrimmage. Dr. Detroit, Dan, are you serious? Question mark. They're talking about offensive weapons out backwards. Is this? Yes. I can only go by the reports, Dr. Detroit. This is not my report, but multiple different reporters. I think we all get it. In day one of the NFL draft or scouting combine, I should say, you had everybody saying the Lions were talking to this defensive lineman, this edge, etc. But after that, it does seem from multiple different news reporters who were there, including Dave Burkett and all the other guys from Detroit, Lions were spending a lot of time talking to offensive players. And I know when I gave the rundown, a lot of it doesn't make sense to me because these guys aren't going to be available in the 20s. And are you really going to make a major trade up to get a wide receiver or a running back? I mean, maybe. Maybe the Lions have some sort of Scooby-Doo plan for the offense that you and I aren't privy to. Miles Meyer, was fun watching the big dogs run the 40-yard dash. Yeah, 10-yard splits. Yeah, 100%. Some of those guys nowadays, they can really move. Marcus, I want Daniel Thomas analysis. Daniel Thomas is better than my old Kuiper. I'll see if I can reach out to Dan Kuiper Jr. or Daniel Thomas and see if we can get him on the show maybe this week or next week. Jerome, let's see. I get that Brad wants long-term consistency, but let's get a Super Bowl first, and then we can renovate a team as we need to. We have enough good pieces. We don't need to have a total rebuild. Yeah, I'll go with that, man. I think you're spot on. Hey, man, I think we all want that Super Bowl, and sooner versus later. Anymore, there's two things I can't stand. A backstabbing coach and a mad Packers fan. Woo! I'll go with that. Hey, if the Packers are mad that we did them dirty or something, I'd be okay with that. And yes, as far as Benedict Johnson, I guess we'll see what shakes out. Kurt Steele, the Man of Steel. What up, though, Duke Crew? What's up, Man of Steel? Coach Rock, need to get the players we want to keep signed before free agency begins. I hope we do keep some of our own. Yes, indeed. Miles Meyer, Hookadoo. Morning, Brock. Just getting over being ill finally. Yeah, it sounds like it is going around, man. Henry Moore, good morning, Kurt Steele. Derek, good morning, Coach and crew. I saw several good defensive linemen and offensive linemen at the combine. You never know what player is going to blossom in the NFL. Tough choice for Brad Holmes. Agreed 100%. Dale, Coach, my bad in the CD3 question. You address this in 5 glorious headlines now. Appreciate it. Hey, anytime, man. Sometimes we get the double dip. Aaron, what up, Coach and crew? What's up, Aaron? Hopefully a good start to your day. Hookadoo, sorry, dude. I didn't know you were under the weather. Yeah, a couple people are, man. It is going around for sure. Big D, morning crew, how's it? Pretty good. How about you, Big D? Kurt Steele, bring back J-Mo? Yeah, I think they're going to, man. I just don't see a situation where Aiden Hutchinson leaves or Jameson Williams leaves or Kirby Joseph leaves. And, there's probably other people that you could throw on that list too. Derek signed KJ and Hutch, re-signed J-Mo down the road. Maybe indeed. That, $15.5 million for a guy like him on a 5th-year option. I don't think that's a bad deal. JDC, Miles Meyer, keep on trucking. Summer is just around the corner. It is. Spring is in the air. Phil, the front office person doing contracts left the Lions, correct? Yes. 2 consecutive seasons. Who is now doing that job, and will there be a difference? I don't know. My assumption is until they fill the role, they probably have a couple people assisting Brad Holmes with that. Coach Rock, only wish J-Mo would tone his touchdown celebration down a notch or 2. Maybe he will, man. Give it time. Miles Meyer, thank you, JDC. And here, just as pretty, Sister Autumn is too. Okay, in her system. Okay. Micro Mike not going live today, meeting up with some hookers. All right, I'll go with that. I don't think that's really Mike. Phil, will this Lions team put a lid on the celebrations? Lions, more than other teams, seem to practice skits. It is getting out of hand. It is what it is, man. I don't really pay attention to it, mate, but I get some people do. Tim, good morning, Duke Crew. Why offense? Lions will not make the Super Bowl without pass rush. Brad is smarter than me, but, man, it's obvious to us, is it not? I would say, Tim, I know a couple people have already mentioned in the chat, if the Lions really do go after offense, as these reports are kind of indicating, they probably have addressed the defense, at least to some degree, in free agency or trades. JDC, Bears are the monsters of the midway. I concur. Kurt, Kevin doesn't want to leave Detroit. Yes, I would think so. Micro Mike, Kurt, you got any more? Oh, boy. Okay, here we go. Victor, it's starting to look like, to me, the Lions cap space is going to, for new contracts with existing players and nothing left to get a new starter. Yeah, it could be. Could be indeed. Coach Rock, hopefully the players feel the same about Ben Johnson that the fan base feels about him and will shun him. Yeah, we'll see. Kurt, Mike, it doesn't work for me. Okay. Earl, good morning, everyone. I think the should build through the draft. Yes, I think we should build through the draft, and I think we will. I don't think we're trading away a bunch of our draft picks, but maybe we could make a trade or two there, Earl. And good morning to you, man. Marcus, 2 years, $26 million for KZ. I'd go with that. I wouldn't be, if we can keep him for 2 years and he keeps his level of play up, I would not be mad, man. Phil, with all the injuries last year, what will the Lions do to try to mitigate those kinds of injuries? Stop hitting each other. That would be a big help. Or is it the turf at Ford Field wrecking knees and ankles? Phil, I can't really think of any of the injuries that would have been instigated by the field. I mean, you think about Aiden Hutchinson's injury. I mean, that had nothing to do with field conditions. Who else? CD3s. I mean, that would have been field. Meek Robinson, that would have been field. Let's see, Alex Anzalone, that would not have been field. I guess the only one that you could maybe say could have been field related would have been Aleem McNeil, but I'd have to go back and watch the tape. But that's all the only one I can think of, at least. There could be others, though, for sure. Rock, pay Kevin Zeitler $1 more than Chicago. I like it. That's wise wisdom there. Moonscar, Michael Mike, glad you are alive. Don't know what that weird news about you was about. Me neither, my friend. Earl, good morning, everyone. I think the Lions should build through the draft. And I agree with you, Earl, 1,000%. Michael, have you heard about the Division II quarterback? Zach Zembrowski could be an awesome pick, and not too many people have heard about. I'll have to look into that. I don't know 100%, to be fair. Kurt, Michael Mike, Rose Sparks. There you go. Add a little flavor to your step. JDC, Dre Force Rocks, Eddie Rose, Silver Server. Good morning, Coach and everyone. Same to you. Avery T. Hey, good to see you, Avery. Dan, there's no way I'm making Hutchinson the highest paid edge without knowing he can get back to 100%. I'll go with that. Chris Steele, there is a new show today at 8 on our channel. We'll have to go all boss up and ball out and check it out. Manbear, good morning. Back at you. Marcus, draft best player available. Always what I would do. Phil, Lions grab player so the other NFC North don't. Will the Lions target a player the Bears want just to spite Johnson as they do and did into Green Bay? I would think you'd have to feel that player can impact your team. And then, maybe you make sure you don't have to play against them. Rocky had to keep an eye out for the players who can play the game better than they practice. Not sure how much I pay attention to the combine since I don't get to interview them. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'd say that's right. Big D, never be mad at drafting trenches first round. Look at Philly, how that worked out with Super Bowl. Yeah, I would say most teams, if I was running a franchise, probably every year I'd be adding offensive line or defensive line in first or second round. And then after that, filling with some of the skilled guys. Doug, absolutely. Every Lions fan should be upset. We need defense. I'll go with that. Southwest, he really asking for pills in the chat. Hey, you got to get them where you can, I guess. Pierce, we need defensive edge rushers, not skill players on offense. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more, Pierce. Phil, pinky ring today, Coach. I keep it moving around, man. Otherwise, it just drives my nerves on my left hand nuts. Kurt Steele, free agency is week away. It is a week away. Man, gonna have some fun with that. Coach Rock, seeing a few smoke screens being thrown around by Brad to keep the opposition guessing. Could be 100% true. Server, something, I forgot his last name. Not get him. Not first round, though. Get K. Grant in the first. Trade up if you have to. Might have to indeed. 313, unless we're going to have go be heavy in the free agency on defense, then I'm okay with offensive weapons. Okay. Southwest, can we get upgrade for him, Patrick? I think we can. I mean, I like Timmy Patrick. I think you can improve upon him. Vernon, good morning, Coach the Duke Crew. Coach, would it help if Goff restructured his contract to free up some cap room? And do you think Hudson want a big impact player on the other side like Garrett? I'm sure Hutchinson would love to have another generational player opposite him to help his job out and help the defense out. Do I think Goff is going to restructure in the first year of his new contract? I think not, but who knows? JG could help us all. I mean, if he wanted to do that, that would be great. JC saw the positions Detroit interviewed the most were defensive ends and linebackers. Could Brad trade up to get their Sam linebacker to replace Barnes? I think they could. I don't know if they're going to have to trade up to get someone. Or maybe they will, though. I know Campbell's of interest. And, hey, who wouldn't want another Campbell on the field? So who is the receiver, this receiver? There's a lot of them that I didn't know really well, but I get it. There's a ton of fast receivers. I just think the Lions going to go for another receiver. It's going to be a bigger target, not a 5'8", 5'10" guy. Let's see, Dr. Trey, how many weapons does Jared Goff need? What the heck? We'll see. Can never have enough, right? Phil, the black ring of power on Coach's pinky will be the difference this year. Coach has the ring of power. Hey, one ring to rule them all, right? Taylor Made. Now, this is somebody I haven't seen in a minute. Good to see you, my friend. If I draft a kid who's 6'4" and 330 pounds and runs a 40 in under 5, I'll suit up in the eye because we're running the football. Yeah, and I think that's where this team's looking to go. So, again, I wouldn't be mad if we added offensive line early in the draft. Pierce, mid-round receiver, sure. If Patrick Walls, okay. Rocky, if they go after offense, we have to be outscore the other teams, and I still say defense wins games, especially the big games like the playoffs. Yes, I concur. Mr. Morale, I'd be highly disappointed if we didn't get any defensive line help. I think we will. It just, I guess it comes down to when and where. And I like the new thumbnail photo, by the way. Server, glad you brought it up. I did get either one of them, Ashton or Amarian. All right. Pierce, Hampton comps really well to Montgomery. He does indeed. Marcus, Lions are doing their due diligence. The majority of the guys we interview aren't drafted. Correct. I'll go with that. Yes. Server, Jinky and Gibbs in the backfield. Good luck defending them, everybody. Yeah, if the Lions, if nothing else with this interview process, if they really are targeting another running back with that kind of wheels and speed, I do think it probably means Dave Montgomery's got another season here, and then he's probably not here. But, man, imagine that backfield with that kind of speed, especially when two backs back there in Jared Goff in the shotgun, having them run wheel routes out of the backfield or into the flats, and being able to hand it off to him, too. Micro Mike, FYI, okay, yep, somebody's not a Micro Mike fan, I'm guessing. Keitho, did I miss anything good? It comes down to your opinion there, Keitho. Phil, Lions might be happy with who they have on the defense line. There was so many injured players. If they all come back healthy, our defense would be great. It would be vastly different for sure. Pierce, didn't Monty just sign an extension? It did. 2 years? So this would be the first year for it. And then I don't know the contract enough to be able to say what could happen or anything like that, Pierce. Frank, wide receiver from Iowa, could be where they go. Micro Mike, Keith, I miss your, okay. JP, Monty has 2 years left. Yeah, yep, right with that. Keitho, Pierce, 3-year deal. All right. Keitho, Micro Mike is the GOAT. Okay. Pierce, JP, I thought it was 3 years left, 1 year on current deal and 2-year extension. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to say there's 2 years remaining. This upcoming year being the first of those 2 years, though. Keitho, Micro Mike. Phil, that sneaky ring of power keeps changing fingers. It does, man. It does indeed. JP, yeah, I think you're correct, Pierce. I am wrong. It happens, man. Marcus, wide receiver 3 can get wide receiver Jaden Higgins or Savion Williams in the second round. Both fit our system, our grip players. All right, I'll check them out. See, JDC Micro Mike in a way day players at the game would be a benefit. Yes, sort of like think about, what was it, New Year's Eve when you stay at one of those hotels in New York and they give you those, astronaut diapers because you can't leave the area. You got to be there for like 12 hours outside. So no way I'm doing that. But hey, if you want to do it, that's all you. Keith, though, Horn is nice. I'd rather take Shepard. Okay, JP. I have run at least 1,000 mock drafts on many different sites. If the Lions are willing to not draft edge in the first, it would go better for them. All right. Phil, Micro Mike is now weightlifting machine, getting that granite muscle look. Okay. Yeah, I did see he is working out a lot. 100%. JK, bunch of posters this morning. Hey, sometimes you get that. Jess, at the end of the day, AG gets the best player available that are football players who have grit and love football. A position of need isn't always what AG drafts. He likes using the draft for depth development. Yes, correct. You got to, to your point, real quick, he's more focused on the individual inside and how they're going to long-term meld with this team. So I think you're spot on with that, Jess. JDC, go Lions, go Tigers. I'm down with both. Vernon, was Brandon Holmes spotted at the combine talking to anyone? I think so. Yes, correct. I meant Holmes. Yeah, I knew what you meant with that, Jess. Sir. Tune is all right. Okay. Keith, JK, don't call me that. Thomas, gosh, is so painful to be talking draft 7 weeks before it happens. So much will change between now and then. Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. So much will change with the Lions between now and training camp. So it's part of the process for sure, Thomas. Jess, AG always seemed to get the short straw when it came to the drafts. You're not wrong. JK, Keith, though, JK, I thought we were cool. Yeah, it happens, man. Jim, I think we'll go after O and D linemen. I think you are spot on with that. Couldn't be more correct, in my opinion, Jim. Brian, good morning, Dan and everyone. What to do with Hooker? I say Garrett on a restructured contract. If not, we have to resign or cut him next year. Cut him after 4 years would be crazy. Yeah, or maybe just don't resign him. We'll see what they do. Ed, good morning, Dan and Duke crew. The draft is loaded with offensive linemen. We should get 2 or 3 in the later rounds. Yeah, I think that's probably about right there, Mr. Ed. Just don't have expectations and you won't be disappointed. I like to tell people if you don't have goals in life, you can never miss it. Pierce, JP, all good. Just wanted to make sure that was the case. Yes, 100%. Southwest, you still have to get something on offense. You can't go through an entire draft getting all defense players. Come people, let's think it's never been done in NFL history. Yeah, probably not. I don't think it ever has been done like that. JK Keitho, I'm always kidding. Tim, if Lions trade up, don't need receiver, need pass rush. I will go with that. We definitely need pass rush. JC getting real in the D. Go Lions. Back at you. Keitho, JK, I know. JK, I saw Crown Milkshake at Brad Splash. All right. Pierce, I still believe the Jets will trade for Hooker. I think there could be 2 teams, in my opinion, that go after him. We'll see if that shakes out, though. Jess, don't think Holmes likes to trade his draft capital. It is his currency to build the team depth. Yeah, in the recent drafts, though, he has made some draft trades where he's given up some draft capital. All right, Keito, I think we move up, and hopefully it's for Kenneth Grant. I'm hoping to keep saying it until draft day. All right, keep on saying it. Speak it into existence. JMO Lion King, it's Brad's job to know all players. Correct with that. Brian, draft a quarterback late and get that rookie contract. It could be where they go, Brian, for sure. Thomas, we only need 1 or 2 stud defense free agents to come in this year. Go after impact players. This is our time. Go for it. I like it. Be assertive. Be aggressive. Chris Steele, Dr. Detroit, we talk defense on our show. Laughing out loud. There we go. Anthony, trade for a friend's free agent 7th round for both Bears seconds. Okay. Phil, sub and like, please. Yeah, hit that hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Brian, need pass rushers? I think we all would agree with you there. JK, first pick on offensive line will be confusing. Okay. Rocky, hope we don't have to watch this draft and Brad trades away for a monster on defense to get over the hump and stay healthy. And it seems like we get 17, 18 players back just like a second draft. Okay. Yeah, it would be with all the injured players coming back. Keito, Brian, I'm starting to think after Lions meet up with Milroe, I think Hooker is going bye-bye. Might be. Anthony, Derek Harmon is great at 28. Yeah, he would be a player of interest for sure. Jess, if anything, last year just reinforced this philosophy of having depth to accommodate the injuries that will happen. Undoubtedly, every team goes through injuries. You're spot on with that. Southwest Gilwell soon, Tori, and my Dew Crew sister, Go Lions. Yeah, I know some of you guys are not feeling well, got the flu, whatever. Hopefully it goes better for you. Thomas, like and subscribe, y'all. Yes, pretty please. Ken, 250 viewers and only 79 likes. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit all the buttons. Thomas Milrow, no. Oh, no. Phil, wash your hands, and if you're out and about, keep your hands clean away from your holes. I'm down with that. JK, that's the problem. Only 79 likes, not enough takes. Yeah, if you guys can't help out with the channel. Anthony, we need defensive tackle more than edge linebacker too. Okay, Keito, Thomas Donner, Lions did talk to him, not saying they are going for him. Correct with that. Verbal Kent, it's tough to gauge our defensive needs considering all the injuries Lions had on defense last year. The suspense is killing me. Pierce, I am waiting for next Monday to see what the deal is. Yes, we'll probably start getting some information. Thomas, one more time next week. Wait for the Marcus Davenport 1 year prove it deal. I'll go with that. Moonscar, watch Hoosiers over the weekend and thought of you, Coach. A scene when Gene Hackman, Rip, had to get the kids' attention to teach them a let the coaches coach. You know, hey, it's funny. The more things change, they never really do, right? And yeah, great movie, by the way. Thomas, AJ, we need a great opposite defensive end to match up with Hutch to go get the stud. Yeah, let's go get a stud out there. Coach Rock, Tori, get well soon. My wife's turned into pneumonia, and she's been sick for 3 weeks, just getting over it. Yeah, glad she's getting over it, my friend. Thomas, Brad better get after the defense and solidify the front seven. I think they will. Here's next week will determine a lot. Yes, it will. Keith, I've been sick 5 times since October and caught pneumonia. Hey, hopefully you are doing better, my friend. Drink that Mountain Dew and vinegar. Thomas, I get it, but absolutely not. Milrow is not a passing quarterback. Hooker can wing it and scramble. I'll go with that. Phil, 15-2 with 22 injured players is pretty successful in free agency job. I concur. Lions bad guys, so many good players in the draft compared to all the depth of past years. A lot of 7 out of 10s, if you will. Okay. JK, there's always too many holes to fill that. Why you need a group capital. You need the draft capital for sure. Dynamite, I like defensive back. Darian Porter, he has size, speed, all. Yeah, I know. I want to say my brother Tim sent me some stuff on him. Really likes him. JK draft capital. I knew where you were going with that, man. I got you. Big Dad's good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Brad Holmes does not draft for need. He drafts best available. I couldn't agree more with that, Big Dad's. 100% there. Thomas, the Eagles are going to all in for Myles Garrett. Oh, let them. Phil, with so many quarterbacks available in the league, that will affect wages for quarterbacks. I think at some point you will see quarterback, I guess, salaries come down. Maybe not for the top 5 guys, but for the other guys, just because there's so much. It seems like there's more and more parity with them. Silent service. Greg Zabil could be our pick. Could be. Big Daz. Milrow isn't that good. U of M has beaten him twice. All right. U of M did beat some good people. Dynamite. Darren Porter has elite traits. Lions need to draft him. I'm not all for it. Thomas, Evan Brown isn't good. Keito, Mahogany should have been drafted where Manu was and drafted Manu where Mahogany was drafted. I like Mahogany a lot. You know, the only thing I'd say is we got them both, so could we have switched spots with them? Sure. But you know what? It seems to have worked out for us. Silver Server, a healthy Mahogany will start without a shadow of a doubt. I think so too. Dennis, good morning. Dan of the crew. Back at you, Dennis. Good to see you, my friend. Keith, Silver Server, 100%. Southwest, again, you can't and won't go through an entire draft without getting people on offense. Yeah, we'll add some offensive players for sure. All right, guys, we got about a minute and a half. I got to get through a few guys who haven't been on here so much. DM5, James Pierce Jr. ran on 4.4. Hopefully he slips to us. I'd be okay with that. Burns, I just want to steal a player from the Packers. Upset Grosky. There you yes, Grossi. There you go. I'm down with that. Hater's house. Hey, haven't seen him at Go Lions from L.A. Hey, hopefully you're having a good time out there, my friend. Bad guy laughing all out. Micro Mike, Clone Clown. There you go. DM5, I think the mentality needs to change. We just need to make the playoffs. Going for the 1 seed burnt us last year, as well as injuries. Yes, the injuries definitely impact us without question. Pastor Ben, Duke Crew, just for the process leadership, I think free agency has to be good to us. 17-1, then Super Bowl bound. I like it. I like it indeed. Phil, Brosi posing as Mike Kimber. It is a possibility. Haters house, shore up the trenches. I would say so. Southwest, stop annually players. Philly's defense is the 85 Bears. Defense, Barkley is the reason they won the Super Bowl. They had probably a big contribution. DM5 Dan, is there any way you can block load contracts so they backload contracts to pay out down the road so we can acquire more talent? Yes, you can work them out that way 100%. It just comes down to what your agent's going to allow pretty much. Keitho, wish the draft was here already. Me too, man. Me too. William, have you tried a silicone ring? That's what this one is. This is the second ring. That's what I wear. Yeah, the metal ones tore up my hands. It felt like they were going numb within seconds, but even the silicone ring. So for those who don't know, a lot of times during the day on my left hand, I have to move anything on my arm up past the wrist just because it drives my wrist and hand numb. All right, see, one pride. Last draft may be the first where Lions were able to draft for depth and development. It's not as that flashy, but that's what great teams get to do. I think it'll end up being solid, but not as good as previous. Yeah, could be some truth to that. Thomas, Broderick Martin was a wasted pick after the fact that Brad traded picks to draft him was ridiculous. I'm hoping he breaks out this year. I mean, what else can he do other than hope? D-Dunk, honestly, if there's a good starter that Lions don't resign, it would be J-Mo. I think they'll keep him, but they already paid St. Brown, so they could possibly trade him for picks. Maybe. JDC, I ain't scared. JK, can't wait for the build in the Bud Out 2 film. All right. Let's see, Brian, I heard recently married men put the ring on their pinky when they're headed to the Asian massage. All right, we'll go with that. As 4-1-1, defense. I like that. Maybe offensive line in the third. Could be. Brian Vaki to defense could be the reason to get a running back. Yeah, maybe. That's a good thought, actually. DM5, Goff for Garrett, and drafted quarterback. Oof, we'll see. Daz 411, 111 likes. Yes, hey, if you can hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Pneumonia is going around. Yes, it is. It is indeed. Unfortunately, JDC, Lions bad guy. I doth agree. DM5, if Eagles get Myles Garrett, it's over. Period. Okay. Hookadoo. Happy trails, do crew grit. Back at you, Phil. I've heard to tattoo my ring on my left hand. So to my wife, she said we won't be married anymore because of the ring. She's a great wife. Hey, keep her happy, my friend. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, if you have a half second of time, reach on down, hit that thumbs up or like button. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. If there is breaking news today, I'll get over to you as quick as possible. Otherwise, be a good human being. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. See you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus?
Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism?
Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology?
Or nuclear power?